Hi everybody. Today I am here to go through some summer book recommendations and also give some progress on some books that I am reading right now that are set during the summer. The first book that I read in April was 100 Summers by Beatrice Williams. I found this on a friends recommendations list on Instagram for books that describe Friends characters for Rachel, and I think this book perfectly describes the relationship dynamic between Ross and Rachel in the episode where they all go to the beach. At this point in the series, Ross is dating Bonnie, and this is the episode where Rachel shaves Bonnie's head because she's jealous of her blonde hair. Bonnie is a friend of Phoebe's who is a cancer survivor, by the way. I gave this book 4.5 stars, and I will be rereading it again very soon and giving a review of it because I haven't reviewed it yet. The next book I am currently rereading that has summer vibes to it is Something Wild and Wonderful by Anita Kelly. This is a LGBTQ plus romance that I read for book club last year, and I gave it 4.5 stars. This is about two guys named Alexi and Ben who go on a road trip across the Pacific Coast Trail, the same trail that is in Wild by Cheryl Strayed. And I just love the relationship dynamic between Alexi and Ben, and also the autism representation for Alexi. In my reread of Something Wild and Wonderful, I am currently on chapter 11, page 127. The next book with a summer vibe is Everything's Coming Up Rosie by Courtney Walsh. I read this book in January. It's about a girl named Rosie who is an actress who is home for the summer from her job in New York, and she gets a job at a summer theater program at a retirement home where they're putting on a production of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, and I gave this book 5 stars because A, I love Courtney Walsh's writing style, and B, I love the fact that it's centered around musical theater because I am heavy into musical theater, as all of you know, and this main character is... I selected this for the Friends and Gilmore Girls CBR basically because Joey is an actor. So if you have never read Courtney Walsh before, I discovered her in 2024 upon a recommendation of the book The Happy Life of Isadora Bentley by Jess at These Lyrics and Lines, who unfortunately don't update their channel as often anymore, which is very sad. In my reread of Everything's Coming Up Rosie, I am on chapter 7, page 62. The next books with summer vibes I wanted to talk about is One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. This is about a girl who loses her mother to cancer, and she decides to go on a vacation to Italy. They were supposed to go on together before she passed away by herself. And there's a little bit of magical realism in this book because she kind of meets her mother's ghost. So this audiobook is narrated by Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls, and when I read it last year, I listened to it immersively by reading it physically and listening to the audiobook. And this is a really good experience because it really put me in the mindset of the character as she was traveling through Italy. This is set in the Amalfi Coast area of Italy, where I have never traveled to, but I hope to someday go there. And I want to definitely, in the next couple of years, I want to save up enough money to go back to Italy to visit my family, because I haven't seen them in a long time. The next book was Summer Vibes that I'm going to be rereading during the next couple of months is Main Characters by Hannah Orenstein. This focuses on two sisters named Vivian and Lucy who have to go back to their family lake house because it's getting ready to be sold because their parents are divorcing. This was promoted as an adult version of The Parent Trap, which, I mean, I got the vibe of this a little because of the fact that they were trying to, like, the parents were getting divorced. I also love this book for the main setting. I think I gave this book 4 stars. I don't remember, though. The next book with Summer Vibes I wanted to talk about is Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. I read this book last month, and I loved the setting of this book. It's set at an adult summer camp, so think of like The Parent Trap or It Takes Two, but the summer camp is for adults. So this is about a girl named Scotty who goes to this adult summer camp as kind of an assignment for her job, because it's a summer camp for people who are getting divorced, and she gets paired up with this guy named Wilder. Their dynamic is a hoot. I really love them together. This is my favorite Megan Quinn book aside from Merry Christmas, not Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal, I'm sorry, How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. She came out with a new summer romance book last month called Rules for the Summer, which is currently on my TBR. It has not come in at the library yet. I gave this book 5 stars. The next book that I'm reading is called Heartwood by a local author named Emma Hartley. I read this a couple of months ago, and this was my first book by this author. I can't wait to read more from her. This book focuses on Blake and Alex, who are working on restoring a cabin in Maine that belongs to somebody's family. I can't remember. I really love the dynamic between Blake and Alex, and I don't want to spoil this book for you in case you want to read it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Another book that is set in Maine that I just finished reading is called Grafting. I have that book in the other room. I forgot to bring it in here. It's the book club pick for Reading the Rainbow Book Club for July. So that book is going to be reviewed next month in my print bookstore book club blog post that will be out after the 4th of July. The next book that I would like to recommend for a summer beachy read is Lulu's Cafe by T.L. Lowe. My friend Chandler gave me this book for Christmas last year. So most of these books are set like in Maine or like off the islands in Canada, but this book is set in South Carolina. The reason I like this book is because this small town is basically the same as Stars Hollow in Gilmore Girls, only it's set in South Carolina, and I just love the atmosphere of the small town in this book and the dynamic between Leah and Crowley. I like the buildup of their relationship. This is my first book by this author, and I can't wait to read it again later this summer. The next book that I wanted to mention is the next two books that I wanted to mention are by Carley Fortune. The first book is called This Summer Will Be Different. This is set in Prince Edward Island, Canada, which is the setting of Anne of Green Gables. I read this book at the beginning of May, at the same time that I reread Anne of Green Gables, and it just really put me in the mood to want to travel there. And of course, Prince Edward Island is on my bucket list of places to travel to. This book focuses on Lucy and Felix. So Lucy is in Prince Edward Island for her best friend Bridget's wedding, but she falls in love with Felix, who is her younger brother, and they want to keep their relationship a secret from Bridget because they don't want to spoil her wedding. So this is kind of similar to the situation in Friends where Monica and Chandler hook up at Ross's wedding in London and don't want to let anybody else know about it. So, I gave this book 5 stars because I love the Prince Edward Island setting and the whole background of the wedding. Let's see. Then, is there another discussion question that I can answer? Bridget and Lucy's friendship is tested as they grow into their adult lives. Do you think it's possible to maintain the same depth of friendship as we get older? So this is an interesting thing to talk about. An example I have from my own life that relates to this question is my best friend from elementary school. So I grew up in Saugus, Massachusetts, and one of my best friends, her name is Melissa. We stayed in touch a little bit after I moved away to New Hampshire, but then after a while we lost touch and we didn't reconnect again until after we graduated from college. And I really enjoyed seeing her again and realized that we went to college to study the same exact thing, and now she lives not too far from where my beach house is in Hall, Massachusetts. So hopefully this summer while I'm on vacation, I can get her to come see me at my summer house. The next book with a summer vibe by Carley Fortune that I wanted to talk about is One Golden Summer. This was Carley Fortune's new release from last summer, and it is the sequel to Every Summer After. So you have to read Every Summer After before you read this book, because the main character in this book is the brother of the main character in Every Summer After. So in this book, we focus on Charlie, who is the brother of Sam from Every Summer After, and Alice. Alice is a photographer, and she takes pictures in the small town of Barry's Bay, which is in Canada. And she goes there one particular summer. Like, when she was younger, she took a picture of Charlie and his friends on a boat, and then several years later, she reconnects with Charlie again, and I really love the dynamic between Alice and Charlie. They are very, very similar in personality to Monica and Chandler. I love the setting of Barry's Bay, and I also love the character growth between Sam and Percy. They show a lot of growth of characters in between Every Summer After in this book, which was really great to see. I gave this book 5 stars. And let's see. Which discussion question can I answer? How have your feelings about Charlie changed or not between reading that book and this one? This is in regards to Every Summer After. So, like, in Every Summer After, Charlie was kind of an annoying character, and I feel like over the course of the 2 books, he really grew a lot, and that's why he was such a good match for Alice. The next summer book I have for you guys, for the next 2 books that I have for recommendations for you guys are by Emily Henry. The first one is Happy Place. The reason why I selected this book is because it's set in Maine. It's focused on 2 characters named Win and Harriet, and they have been dating for a long time, and they're about to break up. And they decide to break up right before they go away for the summer with their college friends. And they have a hard time admitting to their friends that they want to break up or that they have broken up, because this is the last summer they're spending at their friend Sabrina's beach house because her father is going to sell the house at the end of the summer. So I really hated... Okay, first of all, Win and Harriet are very similar to Rachel and Ross with their miscommunication in this book, with how, like, with the whole ending their relationship. It reminds me of We Were on a Break, but the thing that they're having the issue communicating about is whether or not to tell their other friends that they're broken up. And I mean, I think they should have just told them instead of keeping it a secret. I gave this book originally 5 stars, but then when I read it again last summer, I gave it 3 stars just because I can't stand the miscommunication between Win and Harriet. Another book that I'm listening to on audiobook right now that has miscommunication in it that is really annoying to me is The Shippers by Catherine Center. This is Catherine Center's new release from May 18th, and I usually love her romance books, but this book and her book from last year, The Love Haters, which I read in February, not my favorites. So in this book, we focus on Cooper and Jojo. Jojo is the main female character, and at the beginning of the book, she is engaged. She has her wedding, and she's about to marry this guy named Pierce. But then Cooper shows up to stop the wedding, and basically she's a runaway bride. So essentially, Jojo is very similar to Rachel at the beginning of Friends when she runs out on her wedding to Barry. You can tell from the get-go of this book that Cooper and Jojo are going to end up together. I almost don't want to finish the book because this plot is so predictable. I love Catherine Center's writing. Cooper deserves so much better than Jojo because Jojo is annoying and very immature. There's a side plot with the parents divorcing, and I'm thinking the father might be neurodivergent because he seems to have a lot of social awkwardness around approaching the mother about their relationship and the difficulties they're having with it. So I really like that representation, and I'm interested. So I don't want to finish this book because I'm annoyed with Jojo, but the reason why I want to finish it is because I want to see how the parents resolve their issues with getting divorced and if they decide to reconcile or if they still end up divorcing. So my anticipated rating for The Shippers is going to probably be 3.5 stars. The next summer beach read I wanted to recommend to you guys is called Beach Read. So this is one of my favorite Emily Henry books because it's about 2 writers. Our main characters are named Augustus or Gus and January. So it is set. This book is actually set on a lake, so the title is kind of confusing because it's called Beach Read. But anyway, so January and Gus are both suffering from writer's block, and they basically switch genres and go on a trip around a lakeside town to get ideas for their book. January is a romance writer, and Gus is general fiction. So my favorite scene in this book appears at the scene where they're at the carnival and they're on the carousel, because it makes me think of the boardwalk in the town where my summer house is, where we have a carousel. This is also next to the arcade, but the arcade closed down last year. Another book that I do not have on me that kind of has a beach house kind of setting, or something similar, is The Dutch House by Ann Patchett. It's a general fiction book. Ann Patchett also wrote Tom Lake, and she just came out with a new book called Whistler, which I have heard is really good. So The Dutch House is a family drama about this family who lives in a historic house that's like a summer house, and they're preparing to sell it. And it's about how this house has gone through the generations. And the reason why I wanted to mention that book, even though it's not a beach or summer read per se, is the house in this book reminds me of the Hull House, which is my beach house. The next book on my summer TBR is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is the third book in the series with Part of Your World. And in this book, we focus on Justin and Emma. Emma is a traveling nurse. And then Justin and Emma meet online on Reddit because they are on a thread about people who are who think they have found their soulmate, but they keep losing the person, and they basically make a bet that they will be able to like maintain a relationship throughout the summer. And I love the banter between Justin and Emma, and I also like the scene when Emma is helping Justin with his younger siblings because they have a caring dynamic with the kids. Justin's mother walks out on him and his siblings, so he's assigned to care for them in her absence, which I didn't like. Justin's mother was kind of a jerk. I didn't like her that much. Discussion question. So the main question in this book I wanted to answer those discussion questions is Justin the asshole? In the beginning of this book, you might think he is, but as he continues to grow throughout the plot, I think he matures a lot, and by the end of the book, he isn't. So this book is a 5-star read. This book is 4 stars. The next book is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a general fiction book that is set in the 1980s. Actually, it's more historical fiction. Mostly Taylor Jenkins Reid writes LGBTQ romance. This is the only book of hers that, well, Daisy Jones in the Six is not really, no. Daisy Jones in the Six is LGBTQ+, I think, but this one isn't. This is a family drama that is set in Malibu, California in the 1980s. It's about a family drama that focuses on the kids of a rich celebrity named Mick River. Mick River actually appears in The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo as one of Evelyn Hugo's 7 husbands. So basically, the parents are absent in this book because the dad is divorced from the mom, and the dad is always out traveling because he's a musician. So this family has 4 kids in it. We have our oldest daughter, Nina. We have her twin brothers, Jay and Hud, and her little sister, Kit. I love the beach setting. So they have this family hosts a wild party at their house every year, but at this party, things go terribly wrong and a huge house fire starts. And it's terrible. I don't want to spoil things for you in case you want to read it. I just love the beach setting. I love how there's a link to, like, nature, like the wildfires in the ocean, because Nina is a surfer, something I could never do. I gave this book 4.5 stars. Another current read that I just started this morning is called The Mother-Daughter Book Club by Susan Patterson and James Patterson. James Patterson is a thriller author who co-wrote this book with his wife, and it's set around a group of mothers and daughters who travel to Italy one summer, and they have a book club with each other. The thing that's really cool is that in the front of the book, they have the descriptions of all the characters and what kinds of books they like. And I feel like with one of the characters that has the reading taste that aligns the most with mine is Zoe, who is the influencer, which makes sense because, I mean, I'm an influencer. I may not get paid to review books on YouTube, but I'm still an influencer. And then I also connect to Meg because she's a writer. Meg is Jamie. She's one of the twin daughters of Jamie. Her older sister's name is Kathleen, who's a law student. And, okay, our reading tastes don't align, but her sister's let's see, which other characters align with my reading taste? I would probably say Jamie, who's the mother of Kathleen and Meg. Her favorite authors are Nora Roberts, Elizabeth Strout, Diana Gabaldon, and Ann Napolitano. The other mother character that has reading tastes that align with mine are Mariana Marciano, who is the diva. She's an opera singer who has residences in San Francisco and Lake Como, Italy, which is where all of these characters travel to have the book club. So her favorite actors are Anne Patchett, Taylor Jenkins Reid, Elin Hildenbrand, who writes a lot of... Her books are also perfect for summer beach reads because they're all set on Nantucket. And my favorite books by her are The Perfect Couple, The 5-Star Weekend, The Hotel Nantucket, and Summer of '69. And then she also likes Elena Ferrante, who is an Italian writer who wrote the series with My Brilliant Friend in it. I just started this book this morning, and I am on chapter 14, page 114. So I highly recommend any of these books to you, and I'll be able to recommend this book to you with a rating within the next week once I finish it. So have you read any of these? What did you think of them? Feel free to weigh in the comments. If there is a if there is a book you like to read on the beach that I might have missed, please comment below, because I'm going away on vacation next month and I need books to take with me on the beach. So, I mean, I may take a couple of these with me as well, but if you have any other recommendations for me, comment below. Have a great day. Thank you for watching.